Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's BA Insight session. Really pleased to have a broad audience and to be talking about BA enjoyment. So hopefully we'll be enjoying ourselves today. Before we get into the topic of BA enjoyment, let's do some introductions. And if I could start with Steffan. We'll work our way around, please.
Hi, I'm Steffan. I'm a junior BA for the Ministry of Justice, and I work in the Justice Digital Department.
Thank you, Steffan. Perfect. And Matthew.
Hi, I'm Matthew Heyhoe. I'm the oldest person ever that's ever been a business analyst, as people keep reminding me. And yeah, I've been doing this for far too long and still love every bit of it.
Thank you, Matthew. And next up is Matt.
Hi, I'm Matt, Sutherland-Patman. I'm a senior business analyst and head of the community of practice for BA at the Cabinet Office. Been a BA for over a decade, various different roles. And one thing that I do enjoy is the job that I do, and I want to share that.
Brilliant. That's perfect. Thank you, Matt. And Claire.
Hi, everyone. I'm Claire. I am the only business analyst working at Macfarlanes, which is a city law firm. I've been doing the role for about 5.5 years. I'm probably the oldest, but certainly not in terms of BA experience on the call, I would say.
There won't be a competition for this group or the audience to see if Claire is right on either accounts there. You'd be pleased to know. All right, brilliant. But thanks everyone for the introductions. Loads of BA experience. I didn't hear too much enjoyment experience, but I'll assume that there is at least enough to get us through the session. Anyway, so thank you. So let's start maybe with the first question. I'll pose that to Steffan first, in terms of why is it important to find enjoyment in your role and what are the benefits?
I guess the more you enjoy your role, the more committed you are, and then obviously the more effort you put into your work, and then hopefully the better you perform. I mean, happiness in work is really important to me. You spend the majority of your week in work, so for me it needs to be a positive experience. I'm a fairly new BA. Before this I was a teacher. Obviously having a career change is a fairly big challenge, and I imagine that would be far more difficult if you didn't enjoy your role. I love my role so far. Like I said, I've only been doing it for less than a year, but so far I love everything about it, and yeah, it's all positive so far for myself.
Excellent, thank you, Steffan. Matthew.
Steffan's answer is a lot better than mine will ever be. So the people who know me will know me that I witter on a lot about the fact that life is finite and that we only get a once. So it's that feeling of if you don't enjoy doing something, stop doing it. Go and find something that you do. I'm so lucky that I accidentally fell over being a business analyst. I've done it for 20 years, and I don't think there's been many days where I've not actually enjoyed everything about it. There's frustrations, but doing things with a smile on your face makes it so much more enjoyable. Means at the end of the day, you can actually come back and think, I made a difference. This was worth living today. As for, I think being really focused, if I'm thinking in a negative way, then I'm not focusing on trying to solve the problem that I'm probably uberly obsessed about trying to fix. So it's that bit of, if I can remove all the negatives, remove the distractions, be fully focused, and then just love doing what I do.
Excellent, thank you, Matthew. And it's actually a really good point about the fact that as BAs, we are trying to always find a positive outcome as well. So definitely having a correlation between enjoying your role, being positive, and trying to find a positive outcome is definitely a really good point. Matt.
Yeah, Steffan and Matthew kind of hit the nail on the head there a little bit, is that it's essential and it's really important that you do enjoy your role. We spend majority of our life at work. So to find something that you enjoy is really important. You touched on a few points there already. It increases job satisfaction. If you enjoy your work, you're more likely to be satisfied with it, and then you're encouraged to develop your career and to do more with it. It kind of reduces your stress. It boosts your own motivation. There's a lot of benefits that you're going to get from a personal level. If you enjoy yourself, you're going to be better at it. You're going to grow as a person. If you're engaging with work that you're enjoying, you can see opportunities within it to do more stuff, whether it be to do learning, you can do development, you can pick up extra roles, you can see stuff that's in front of you. And if you're enjoying your work, chances are you're going to be enjoying life, and you can take that home with you as well. You kind of better relationships. You've got that better work-life balance. And I think that's really important to have. And that's something that I'm very keen to have with a young family. So it's important to me. And I think both the guys have already said it, it's something I fell into. I started as an SME on a project. 18 months later, which was supposed to be 8 weeks, I fell in love with what I'm doing. Immediately, as soon as that engagement finished, I applied for a BA role, and I've been doing it ever since. And not only do I do the role, I coach and mentor and train people that work for me, and through other avenues. So yeah, it's definitely something I'm enjoying.
Thank you very much, Matt. And Claire.
Yeah, I think just to echo some of the other points, I mean, for me, part of the job that's really enjoyable is the creative aspect. And I think when you're really engaged with your work and you're enjoying it, you're probably more likely to want to innovate and think out the box and really embrace the knotty challenges rather than kind of shying away from them. And I think certainly on Matt's last point, I mean, no man or woman is an island, and kind of emotion and the way we conduct ourselves, I think, can be really quite contagious. So when we're not enjoying it or we're not feeling engaged, I think our stakeholders kind of know. So do you want to be the BA that walks in the room and lights up the room and gets everyone laughing and kind of collaborating and kind of really, passing on that enjoyment? Or do you want to be the kind of mood hoover that walks in the room and kind of brings everyone down a few levels? I know which sort of BA I'd like to be.
Yeah, I would totally agree with that and all of the prior points made as well. I mean, I think it was a point perhaps Matt was touching on around mentorship. I think definitely if you're being a mentor or you're mentoring BAs, it's important to be enthusiastic and show that you're actually enjoying the role. Because if not, what is there for them to follow? Why would they want to do it? So, but otherwise, I think I run the risk of repeating what you've all said. So I will refrain from doing that. That's for sure. And therefore, I don't want to impact your enjoyment. So perhaps we move on to perhaps another question in terms of like those internal or external factors that might impact an individual's enjoyment. So perhaps if we think about internal, probably like within our immediate teams, perhaps organisation, and then external might mean more broadly if perhaps we have the opportunity to work with external clients or stakeholders or communities. And Matthew, I wonder if I can start with you on that question, please.
I think the thing that affects me the most, it's probably both internal and external, is working environment where your own values match up with the people around you. It's the quickest way for me to have a negative relationship with somebody when we're there's not necessarily that respect there. It's so wonderful to be surrounded by people that you know that you're pulling in the same direction, that you feel like you're doing this together. Like I said, we don't want to be the island. We want to be part of something better, something together, pulling towards solving that probable one or many problems that we're facing. I think if you value and respect other people, they're going to hopefully value and respect you, and that means a huge difference as well to me. And I think the final bit for me is actually thinking, am I actually going to make a difference? If I'm not making a difference, I probably shouldn't be there. I should be somewhere else solving a different problem with a different set of people. So having that feeling that I'm making a difference makes such a difference to me. What great tautology that is.
Yeah, absolutely. Matt, your opinion, please.
Yeah, it's absolutely right. There's a lot of quite a few factors, I'd say. And for example, if we start looking at internal, the work environment and the team dynamics, for me is fundamental to kind of partly if I'm enjoying myself, if I'm with a team that's to use Claire's analogy, is a bit of a mood hoover, it's going to have an impact. I'm fortunate that I've worked with and have for the past 2.5 years now with a fantastic team. We were all recruited similarly around the same time. We all recruited in the middle of the pandemic. I was working on a similar project and moved sideways into this one, and everyone has this same mentality. We don't get the opportunity to get together very often because we're all working quite remote. So we're Glasgow, Manchester, York, Newcastle, Bristol, some Londons, there's Cardiff. It's everywhere, and we don't get that opportunity to come together. But when we do, it's like that you've never been apart. There's that really good camaraderie, there's good banter, there's that real work ethic. So the dynamics of a team for me are essential. And I think Matt was right, with what you do needs to be meaningful, so that you feel you're actually contributing to something. There's communities of practice that you can get involved with. There's networks that you can be a part of, whether it be, so this is internal and external. IIBA have got some fantastic networks that you can get involved with, local chapters and things like that. And getting involved with other BAs is really infectious. You can feel the energy from other people, and it gets you excited about what it is that you do. And that's what that was a flick for me, a real switch. I was in this role for a year or so as a BA, and attended an event, and hear someone's passion to talk about specifically what they do as a BA and why BA is a role they want to do. Because previously I was like, I'm going to use BA and then I'm going to become this person. I'm going to go and Scrum Master. I'm going to go and do project management and things like that. And then hearing someone passionately talk about it, it's like, that makes sense. And that's why I've remained as a BA and then progressing within the role of that BA. But yeah, definitely for me externally is your professional networks outside of work, and then you can use those internally as well, and bring in some of those experiences.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that, Matt. Yeah, but everything you were saying, it was resonating for sure with my own experiences. Claire, not one of you share your experience as well, please.
Yeah, I mean, internal factor wise, I guess the really big one for me is, as I said earlier, I'm quite a creative person, and I've kind of happily landed in a firm like Macfarlanes, which has got a very, very strong entrepreneurial and creative culture. So there's never a fear of, if you spot an improvement opportunity, you're not going to get shouted down. There's going to be open ears, which is fantastic. And that's not just in the BA work that I'm doing, it's about how the BA service actually runs. So I had some concerns and some ideas sort of late last year, and I felt very comfortable going to my CIO and saying, look, I'd like to do a little project around this. Could I have some time freed up to do that? And I think that's particularly key for lone BAs, because we wear two hats. We've got to be doing the BA job, but we've also got to be out there selling the service and the value it can bring. So to have the space is really important. And I think when it comes to the external factors, I mean, I was smiling away inwardly when Matt was saying that, because I think I followed a very similar trajectory. I think I've been a BA for about 3 or 4 years. I hadn't done a formal course of study, and it was through doing some study and I discovered the IIBA brown bag lunches, and that was a complete lifeline for me as a lone BA. I literally did not know a single other BA. So you sit there and you learn new things and you think, am I or is this the right technique for this scenario, or I've got this tricky stakeholder and I'm not quite sure what to do. And although you can talk to other colleagues, I think there is something really different about when you speak to another BA, because I think a lot of us share a very similar sort of mindset as well as sharing experiences. So that was a massive game changer for me.
Oh, Claire's going to be a bit silent there. So you said a game changer for you, Claire, and then paused, unfortunately.
I would encourage everyone to get involved with those, particularly if you're a lone BA. It's a lovely, supportive environment.
So thanks. We missed a little bit there between one or two words, but I think we've got the gist of the message. So thank you for that. And Steffan, should include you, of course.
Yeah, I mean, a lot's been covered, but I mean, I guess from a junior or a fairly new BA, just having a supportive environment around me has been really helpful, and it's made the role enjoyable. Just having people that I can discuss kind of tools and techniques with, positive people, role models, kind of enjoyable spaces to collaborate within. But also, I suppose, opportunities to grow and develop. So things like working with a mentor and doing courses. So I recently completed the BCS course. So through doing that, obviously, I learn about a skill or tools and techniques, but then it gives me confidence to then try them tools and techniques within my job. And then I guess generically just recognition and appreciation. So things like employee awards and praise within the team and externally as well. So yeah, a combination of all of them things and what's already been discussed.
I think just to add what most of you have said already. I mean, I think for me the biggest impact, which is probably internally and externally actually, is like the team and stakeholders as well. So they to a large degree have the biggest impact on my BA enjoyment, I would say. I'm fortunate that vast majority of stakeholders and team members contribute positively to the enjoyment part, but there's probably been a handful of stakeholders that have a slightly negative impact on my enjoyment from day to day on occasion, I would add. But fortunately, I mean, what has been really positive is that being a BA, working with other BAs, working with stakeholders as a BA, most people that I've worked with have appreciated the role. Why is I'm engaging with them? They're giving me the time to work with them, and actually, they've helped me enjoy the role immensely. And even those people that were a little bit more challenging, actually figuring out a way to get beyond those challenging stakeholders and bring them on side, actually statistically becomes a little bit enjoyable at a certain point as well, I would say. Perfect. All right. So I'm going to pose a question now to Matt, and that question is really, what do you enjoy most or are most passionate about, Matt, as a BA?
For me, I think it's one of two things. So firstly, it's mentoring and coaching my team. I do a lot of work with those that are within my team and report to me. And also I've set up and I run I mentioned that community of practice, providing them with the support, because like Claire, there's a lot of BAs, even within government, within a lot of squads and teams out there that are really the only BA resource within arm's reach, and you're not able to reach out, you're not able to have that peer support and that opportunity just to ask questions and say, am I on the right track? So that's one of the bits that I enjoy the most. And I'll come back to that. But the other bit is supporting and working on those projects that I'm part of. You can see the impact of what we're doing to those projects as a BA, and you can kind of feel what it is that we're actually providing them in terms of a service. We're doing lots of work with different departments and such forth, and you can really kind of feel the impact of what we're doing. Return back to my first point. Outside of work, like Claire, I'm involved in the IIBA brown bags, a couple of the local chapter events, and also host the IIBA's BABOK study session. So it's like every other Friday, same time as the brown bag, alternating weeks. We have a study session for any BA, any aspiring BA that wants to, or people that work with BAs that want to have a better understanding of how to BA and what it is that we can provide. At the moment, we've created a scenario and a case study, and we're working through the BA journey from start to finish of a project. Planning to stakeholder engagement, listing requirements, building off those, prioritizing, and then kind of delivering on projects and such. And then it's all about providing other people with better understanding of how we do what we do. It's what I'm passionate about. Teaching and mentoring others, I think, is probably one of those things that I enjoy, and I love networking.
You're in the right place, Matt. That's good to see. And certainly that teaching, mentoring definitely resonates for sure. Yeah. And it does come across in obviously what you're saying. Claire, I know your view on that question, please.
Oh goodness me, there's so many things to love about being a BA. I think that's why so many of us end up in the job. But I guess it's more a moment than a specific thing for me. Is when, like, I came from a workshop earlier. I'll give you a practical example. When there's a couple of people in the room and we were mapping out this process, and we got to the point where we realized that actually the really big pain point was really one person's really big pain point, and it was really having an impact on her role. And once we started to look at what the to-be process could be, and we realized there was plenty of scope for improvement, and it was going to make a really, really big dramatic impact to this person's role. It's just that lovely aha moment that you get when you realize that there is something you can do. And so what I love, one of my favorite questions to ask is, so you say, you know, we can get this task from this amount of time down to this amount of time and make this improvement. So what are you going to do with that time? You know, and generally that person will light up and go, oh, well, there's all this stuff I'm going to do, and da, 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 da. So kind of, it's about passing that enjoyment on, I think, if that doesn't sound too trite, because, you know, if you're enjoying it and you're able to make a difference so that they can move things forward, then they're going to enjoy the job more as well. Because often the things that we're working on aren't, you know, we're looking at automating or processing out the nonsense. Quite honestly, we're getting the digital feather dusters out and having a clean up of people's processes, and that's a terrible analogy, but I think you get it. Oh no, it's
Ken Dodd.
I'm going to
Yeah,
stop.
And that, I mean, that definitely resonates. Right. I think sometimes you not only see the opportunity to see people you've been working with and engaging and them enjoying themselves and improving, but sometimes you can see that knock on further. You know, someone that you might have interacted with or had some influence on, if they're doing the same and having a positive influence on others as well. I think that's just shows it's sort of like it's a perpetual process that we can contribute to. And I suppose actually when you think of it like that, it makes you realise that, you know, having a few positive influences in your day on others can have a big knock-on effect to the way that others feel about themselves, their role, and actually business analysis, because not always just engaging with other BAs. Yeah. So thank you, Claire. Thank you for inspiring me to think about that little piece as well. So thank you. Steffan.
Yeah, so I've not been a BA for a long time, so I can't actually think of anything that I don't enjoy at the moment, but I guess that's perhaps will change in the future. But just in terms of, I'm passionate about improving the experience for our users, you know, and trying to make a positive impact and changes for them. In terms of the detail, enjoying a list and requirements, so things like interviews and observations. And yesterday I did some protocol analysis with our stakeholders. And from that, I've done process mapping, which I absolutely love. I'm obsessed with process mapping. I need to develop it, but I think I'm already pretty good. But that comes from having a passion about it as well, I guess. And then other elements, I suppose, using data to inform kind of our team and presenting that as well to the wider community. And I suppose generally things like research and just being curious, you know, and looking at problem solving and critical thinking, all these things kind of merge into my normal week. And I liked them before I was a teacher. And I think now that through being a BA, I can use these kind of skills more regularly than I was a teacher. So yeah, combination of all of them things, I guess.
Excellent, cheers. And you can obviously you can apply your teaching skills, I'm sure, to teach others to enjoy the role themselves, I'm sure.
Absolutely, yeah. One of the things that I'm a part of is a junior BA community. So we're looking at improving our BA handbook. So it's one of the little tasks that we do. But yeah, through doing that, we share kind of experiences of different tools and techniques. But obviously we're all juniors, so we're all very positive and yeah, happy at the moment. But it's a nice environment to work in. So obviously we can share kind of gripes and issues. But yeah, I recommend a kind of junior group.
So yeah, certainly, yeah, I would echo that for sure. Matthew.
Well, all the previous answers have been far too good, so you've all stolen my BA bingo. So my answer is going to sound very, very repetitive. I'm very much like Claire. So when it comes to actually doing the work, if I can find that one thing that if we hadn't dug a little bit deeper, we might have glossed over or missed completely. Having that feeling that you've had that eureka moment with your team, with your usually friends, and you know that it's gone and saved time, money, tears, whatever the effect is, makes such a difference. And then you go, well, I don't code, I don't test. That's why I'm here, to ask that question, to suddenly make people go, I didn't realize, I'd forgotten about that process. I was once tutored by a wonderful gentleman called Alan Ebling, and he said the first question you'd ask after you've done your happy path is, and what have you just broken? And that's such a great way to reset my mind, to go, right, probably, unless I'm in a new company somewhere, I've probably broken somebody else's world, and I need to go and find them before they hunt me down and then kill me. In regards to Matt's answers about community practice, I'm going to sound overly passionate about them. I was lucky enough to be, I'm in my third community practice now. They're wonderful places. They're safe places to play and trip over and scruff your knees and your mates pick you back up. Whether it's sharing, of the first community practice that we started, somebody made the point that we were a collection of people with the same job title in the same room. And it stuck with me ever since that we need to be more than that. So getting people in a same space, in a safe space, and helping each other solve our problems makes such a difference. Whether I've previously been mentored by a junior business analyst, because I know that they look at things in different ways. It's got nothing to do with the amount of experience. You can be mentored, you can be taught, my daughters will perpetually remind me that how little I know. So it doesn't matter how much experience anybody's got, I learn off every single person. So being in that room with a community of other people who think like that, I can't think of anything better.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I really enjoy the learning side and developing and picking up new techniques. And as you say, it's not something you just pick up from people who are more senior or been BAs for longer. Actually, most of the time, it's just those either people who have just picked something up or applied a different approach to it, who are maybe new to BA, or just those that are just asking the question perhaps you might forget to ask. And you think, hey, that's a really good perspective to ask on it. And I'm going to make that now one of the ways that I try and operate anyway. So, I mean, it's particularly been the case when it comes to visualization. So I quite like the design side of trying to find new and interesting ways to design something or put a bit of information on a page where it'll resonate the most. So there's always little aspects of creativity that you pick up from other BAs, or if you're fortunate enough to work with UI or UX engineers, they normally have a very creative spark, I would say. So it's always good to learn their inputs and the way they do things as well. Probably go on for a lot, but I feel like probably the other thing that I'm evidently quite passionate about is the value of the BA role, and actually, really do really believe in it as a really valuable part of the change process. It's really a set of skills that that all organisations need, whether they recognise it or not. And therefore, I guess with sessions like this or otherwise, as much as I can spread the good word and maybe find those people that are either not aware of how good we are as BAs and the value, or just to help those those BAs that maybe have forgotten how much value they're adding, how valuable their role is. And that's what I'm really passionate on. So
very much.
Yeah, I felt like I was going to go on speech there and get right on my soapbox on that one. So let's move quickly on then to another question. This time I'm going to pose this question to Claire in terms of the techniques or approaches you might have used, Claire, to sort of discover what you are passionate about or most enjoy from a BA perspective.
Yeah, and this is a really interesting one, and I need to be careful here because obviously we're presenting at the BA conference about this, so I'm not going to blow all our fantastic collateral. But I think less than a specific technique, more a mindset is what I would recommend, because I actually came to this topic because I was having a really tough time at one point. I'd had a lot of major life events happen, but a whole bunch of bereavements. I was going through some health issues, as were some members of my family, and I just found that I really wasn't enjoying anything, let alone the BA role. And I think it's those times when it's really important to just take a step back, and I just without wishing to sound too hippie about it, practice a bit of mindfulness. So just go back to basics and really try and remember, well, what was it about this role that got me excited in the first place? What was it that attracted me into the BA profession? And when I think about the really enjoyable projects I've worked on, what was it that got me excited? Where did I add value? When I get on the train in the morning, what is it that I'm looking forward to about my day? And conversely, where are the things that perhaps I'm not looking forward to so much that I could do something about? Because I think it's and particularly because I've got one of my new things is I've just been a little while ago discovered I've got ADHD, and I think having ADHD can make you a great BA, because you're very excited about new things. You learn very quickly, you embrace the new, but equally you can burn out, and you can not perhaps practice that mindfulness that I'm talking about. So the need to slow down sometimes and not be a Tasmanian devil, I think is pretty important. Oh, John, you're on mute.
I knew it would happen. That's a technique I need to have to enjoy myself, is to remember the unmute button. There we go. I was just saying that, yeah, great start to that question. Thank you. I probably said a few more words than that, but I was on mute, so we'll worry about them another time. Steffan.
So yeah, discovering the parts of the job that I enjoy most. I guess it's reflecting on the work I've completed, really, to identify what I enjoyed and what I need to improve upon. I think it's probably easier for a junior, but it's that whole thing of just trying everything and being curious and having a go. Apart from within the actual job, doing courses, like I said earlier, there are tools and techniques that I haven't used yet, but I kind of picture or I foresee things that I think I might enjoy, things that perhaps I won't enjoy as well. But I suppose things like webinars and podcasts too, and looking at kind of learning workshops with IIBA, I can get to experience lots of different tools and techniques. But yeah, from the ones that I've tried so far, I enjoy most of them, to be honest. But yeah, I guess it's just being open to, trying things, having a go, failing, and then learning from that. And kind of putting the positive spin on it as well.
As you clearly made that point as well, Steffan. I mean, because there's so many different aspects to BA, so many different things you can do. There's a whole range of things that anyone can find enjoyment in. Even, I think going back to a few points people have said about learning, just the act of learning these new techniques in the first place can be an enjoyable one.
Absolutely, yeah.
Excellent, thank you. Matthew.
So I think that I'm Matt from a different universe. If anybody ever watched Sliding Doors, if I was able to grow a proper beard, I'd have ended up being Matt. So I was originally an SME for a company, got involved with an IT project. Somebody said, well, do you want to do this for a little bit? I sat at a desk, changed my auto signature to business analyst, and that was me done. So I didn't have any design. There was no really clever epiphany. I wasn't very grown up. But if you reflect on the things that we do, the things that we're able to do, we help people, we solve problems, we try and make the world a little bit better. How could you not want to do these things? I mean, it's not altruism because I'm addicted to it. It's purely for me. I'm trying to keep my energy levels. Like Claire, I might be a tad neurodiverse. So it's those kind of things, reflecting at how my week or my month has been. Think about the things that the day flew by versus the days that drag, and then you try and look at, well, how can I increase the amount of things that made me smile and skip around the place like I'd eaten 4 bags of Skittles, versus what were the things that made me think, oh, I don't want to do this again. Can I do less of them? Can I give somebody else the chance to go and do that? Because they probably don't need me in the room anyway, because I'm probably staring out a window grumbling. So reflection and being aware.
And I suppose on top of that, the things that you were saying there, Matthew, as well. I mean, if there are things that you don't enjoy, being a BA and applying the BA skill set is really a good way to figure out what is my current state, why don't I enjoy it, how can I improve it to turn it into something either a little bit less painful or something I could enjoy.
Use our skills on ourselves. It's a great technique and one that we so often forget to do.
That's it. And I guess that goes back to the point that Steffan's made around reflection and taking a bit of time to think as well. Yeah, absolutely. Matt.
It's a really interesting one. And I started to think about, what sort of techniques, what sort of different aspects of my job that I do enjoy that thoroughly kind of has got me into this position where I enjoy myself. And I think that's probably it. It's finding what drives you. trying to understand, trying to find your passion with this. And I think that's probably key here. I was at the IRM conference last year and heard a talk, an amazing talk by Rob Baker about job crafting. And I've kind of taken that a little bit to heart. So I've taken so essentially job crafting, for those that aren't aware, is it's making small changes to your job to bring out strengths, passions, and experiences. So what within my job do I enjoy? Can I enhance those? And is there something that I can do that's slightly outside of my role? Is there something that I can bring into my role? Is there something that I can do? So diversify a little bit, learn more things, and learn from others. So at the moment, working really closely with a member of my team, Heather, who's a service designer, spending a lot of time with her learning what she does. Now, the service design and BA, it's like a Venn diagram. Her role, my role, there's a lot of interchange in that middle. So there's things that we kind of can learn off of each other, and you kind of able to add more value by having a slightly different mindset. Before this, I was a tester. I've done a lot of work. I bounced around before falling into BAing, and I use those aspects of that kind of into my job role. And as a result, you can find things that you enjoy, and then you can enhance on those experiences, and you can enhance on those aspects of your job. If I was to give advice to someone, learn from other people. If you're given the opportunity, go and surround yourself with people who are as excited as you are, because you can feed off of it. If you're working alone, go and link up with other BAs, find a local community, find people on LinkedIn, comment on posts in LinkedIn, find out who's liking them, link up with them, connect, and then you start to then build friendships, and you start to build then those relationships, and then you can then you start to enjoy yourself a little bit more. And I think that is kind of something that I've really experienced over the last year since IRM. I've linked up, and I'm part of a few little communities outside of work, outside of IRM, and that's like chat groups, and we meet up, and it just brings a little bit more to what you're doing. And yeah, that's for me. I could talk forever about this subject. I love it.
The point you made there about speaking to others as well, Matt. I mean, it's a really interesting one, because I think there's undoubtedly aspects for everybody around business analysis that you're not aware of, be it techniques, approaches, mindsets. I could go on, right? And actually, as you get to attend conferences or just observe colleagues perhaps, or observe others in the community, you get to see things that you could have a go of yourself. You could try out, that they might be applicable to you. And if you do that, there's a good chance you can enjoy yourself and enjoy the role, enjoy the activity, become an expert in it. I guess the possibilities are endless. So that certainly makes me think along those lines when I hear your response.
Exactly. It's one of the key attributes of being a BA is being curious, right? So go and ask those questions. Go and speak to people. That's what we do.
I mean, I often as well, I think I sort of tend to look for outside of BA quite a lot, like to see what would be really useful or interesting to bring into BA. So I like football. I know there'll be like a championships coming up fairly soon. There's things like World Cups as well. There's always like really neat ways that they seem to present information, and I think that'd be quite a good way to bring something in. So I tend to do that a little bit as well. I find another really effective way of finding what you enjoy is actually to recognise what you don't enjoy as well. And I think a good way of doing that perhaps is to experience other roles and other activities. So I think it's always important from a BA perspective, if you've had a chance to be a tester, as you said, Matt, or be a PM, or be a developer, or be at some other part in the process, even if it's just someone who was the person with the requirements. You then have a perspective of what that role's like. There's possibly aspects of that role that you would enjoy less than the BA role, as an example. And if you compare the two, it gives a great opportunity to think about you know, what is it I'm really enjoying being a BA that I didn't perhaps enjoy as a tester or as a project manager. And I'm sure project managers and testers could probably do exactly the same by looking at the BA role as well. But that for me is a really useful approach anyway for me to appreciate what I don't necessarily enjoy doing. Even though occasionally I get roped into things like program management, which I know I don't enjoy, and I seem to convince myself that I will enjoy it at some point, but it hasn't happened yet. But you never know.
Next time it will. Just keep trying.
That's it. There's a challenge out there for all those people who are going to hire me as a program manager. Try and make me enjoy it. But no, excellent. And unless I guess we sort of Matt mentioned as well, like advice a little while ago. So it's perfect point to take us on to the next question, Matt, actually, in terms of, you know, what advice there would be to others to help them grow their enjoyment. And as you called out that point, it's only fair that I ask you that question first.
Yeah, I've mentioned one or two things already, but outside of that, I'd say that something to consider is diversify your skills. I firmly believe that you can't necessarily be a bit insular and specialize in one aspect of our field. You need to be quite generalist as a BA. There's a lot of development and change happening in the world, and for us as BAs to be aware of what's going on, to go along with it, we need to be aware of it, and we need to and in order to do that and to be effective, you need to be quite diversified in other things other than just being technical or just being focused on one aspect. And I think, well, I'm in an unfortunate position that I work in central government, so I can see what the impacts are by doing other things as well. So whether it be a piece of analysis on a bit of work, being a bit of a tester, being a bit of a designer, or that sort of thing, and having additional skills. You know, AI right now is obviously a bit prevalent, and there's a lot of awareness around it. So kind of reading up on different things, and just having a focus on what else is happening out there rather than just focusing on what you've got in front of you. I think it's another bit of advice I'd give.
Yeah, absolutely. And the point you make as well around diversity, I know you mentioned things like skills, but there's also, I mean, people can diversify their domains in which they operate, or the processes or the teams in which they operate as well. So, I mean, obviously there's people that, you know, say Claire, you know, she's in an organisation as a lone BA. I guess Claire has the opportunity, hopefully, to look at different processes and diversify our understanding of those processes as an example, or just diversify the different types of people that you're interacting with and learning from as well. So yeah, it's really strong point to start on. And as I introduced Claire by talking about that example, I think it's only fair that we ask Claire that same question to you next week.
I see what you did there, John. It's very closely aligned to what Matt said, and I wanted to talk about kind of goal setting for that, because I think particularly when you're a new BA, oh my good, if you think about that book, 123 BA techniques, wow, and that's before we even get into allied areas of Lean and Six Sigma and all those other brilliant tool sets that we can bring to the piece. It's very easy to feel overwhelmed, and it's very easy, I think, to fall into the trap of using the same tried and trusted techniques because they worked before, and they're starting to feel like a bit of a comfort blanket. But from the bottom of my heart, I would say persevere. I mean, I remember the first time I came across BAM's business activity models, I could not get my head around them. I could not see why on earth you would wish to use them. And the first time I did one, a lot of tea was drunk, a lot of new words were invented, and after about the fourth attempt, I went, oh, I've just got it. I've got it. And now I'm one of the biggest proponents of them. I think you could probably me. So I would say kind of think about the things that you do a lot, and think about the things that you don't, and then just set yourself some little challenges, even if you don't use them directly with your stakeholder. And this is a point that Michelle Shakerchef made a little while ago, I think on one of the brown bags, is that you don't have to use those tools with your stakeholders for them to be useful. They can be thinking tools to help you. Or what I love is just do a little rerun. You know, if you get to the end of a project and you've got a bit of personal development time, use a technique that you've not used before on a project that you've just done, and see how it goes, because you never know, that might be your new favorite technique.
Absolutely.
Point of view on it, won't you, Claire, as to whether it's working or it doesn't, when to use it. I'm sorry, Matt, I interrupted you.
No, so I was just going to say absolutely agree. And I think it's something I picked up from Michelle as well, is that she said that 123 different skills. But how many do you actually use? How many techniques do you actually say that not only do you use, but that you're good at using? What, a handful, 10 out of all of those 123? So looking at other different skills and trying to, that idea of doing it after a rerun is great, because you don't have that pressure of having to deliver for the project right now and prove that this is a good artifact. Do it afterwards and kind of prove that it works, and then you've got it in your toolkit for next time.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think sometimes actually it makes me think that I mean, I've seen situations where, you know, that maybe the incumbent BA team that was there before, or maybe even the stakeholders are influencing them to use a particular approach or technique, and then there was like some sort of reluctance to use new techniques, or maybe techniques that some of the BAs thought were more appropriate. So a really good technique, really good approach in that sense was to, in parallel, to sort of work on your own approach to how you might tackle a particular situation. And then the beauty of that is that when you've finished your way of approaching the situation, you get the opportunity to look at it and go, actually, is it any better than what the team are doing already? And if it isn't, obviously keep quiet about it as if it never happened. But if it is better, then you've got some evidence to actually back it up rather than theory as well. So yeah, certainly made me think about that. Steffan, I should ask you that question as well around techniques.
I guess building strong relationships has been really important to me. So community of practice has been great. So like I said, the juniors, we've worked on the handbook, we presented data. It's also an opportunity to network too. So I've observed some more senior BAs and shadowed them, which has been really helpful. And I guess it's just that growth mindset mentality. You know, you have a go, and if you fail, you learn from it, and you seek advice and feedback, and you do it again. You know, set achievable goals and celebrate small successes. And where possible, seek out opportunities to develop and grow. So be it BCS or IIBA, and networking. You know, I might even use this call as an opportunity to network some people after today. But it's getting yourself out there and being confident. I suppose it's a combination of all of them things.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, and you touched on our purpose for these calls as well, Steffan, to you know, it's definitely useful to share insights for sure. I found, you know, through these calls, I get to meet new BAs, learn from new individuals, learn different approaches. And as you say, you know, it's also a chance for people on these calls to meet others themselves as well as me. So no, excellent point. And so let's finish on Matthew in terms of the question around advice to others to grow their enjoyment.
I'm so paranoid when Steffan doesn't contact me now. Over there going, everybody else has been contacted.
It'll be a matter of minutes, don't worry.
My advice, I'll make it really, really quick, really simple. Stop thinking about it, start doing it. Instead of thinking, should I do this? Just do it. Or if the very, very worst, think, is there a reason why I shouldn't do it? The amount of things that you learn from trying it, experimenting, giving it a go. I've done this today. I did something on Tuesday. Both are definitely outside my comfort zone. I could have hidden in my own little world, but I thought, oh, fluff, why not? And I'm enjoying both experiences. So stop thinking, start doing.
Yeah, actually, brilliant advice, Matthew. And I wonder, maybe that's advice to just stop on, really. So maybe stop while you're ahead might be my advice to add to that, and I'll take my own advice in that sense. So I think all there is to do in that case is to thank all of you for your insights. You know, really insightful, of course. Hopefully, you will be able to spread the word to other BAs as well as each other on different ways to enjoy our role, or at least appreciate the fact we do enjoy it, or just maybe there might be a bit of learning there as to different ways we can enjoy our role as well. So loads to take away for sure. I know I've done a terrible job of summarising it, but there we go. But no, thank you once again. I'll look forward to speaking to you and seeing you and hearing from you in the wider BA community for certain. All right, so thank you everybody once again.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.